My beloved brothers and sisters, there is something truly powerful about a woman whose heart is connected to Allah. She may be broken by the world, but she's never destroyed. Because her strength doesn't come from people, it comes from the one who created people. And when she places her complete trust in Allah, nothing and no one can break her. Not rejection, not loneliness, not loss, because her hope doesn't lie in creation, it lies in the Creator. Today, I want to remind every sister listening, if you trust Allah, He will carry you through storms that would drown others. Tawakkul transforms weakness into divine strength. When a woman feels like everything around her is falling apart, when the people she trusted walk away, when the world labels her as weak, broken, or too emotional, it's tawakkul that becomes her lifeline. Trusting Allah doesn't mean things will instantly get easier. It means that even in the middle of the storm, her heart remains anchored. It means she can stand in complete darkness and still see light. Not because her eyes see it, but because her heart knows who is guiding her through it. When she has tawakkul, her tears are not signs of defeat. They are signs of surrender to a Lord who never wastes a tear. That trust is not passive. It's an act of faith. It's choosing to believe in Allah's plan even when it contradicts her plans. Even when nothing makes sense. Even when everything hurts, should be. It's knowing that Allah sees her pain and still asks her to wait. Because there's something being written for her that she can't see yet. It's a strength no one understands. Not even herself. People around her might say, she's too soft. Or, she's too quiet. But they don't realize that softness comes from a heart softened by sujood, and her silence is filled with dua. Tawakkul doesn't erase the pain, but it changes how she carries it. Instead of letting it crush her, she hands it over to the one who can carry anything. Her weakness becomes her doorway to strength. Because it's only when she lets go of control that she finds peace. It's only when she stops trying to fix everything that she realizes she was never meant to. Tawakkul teaches her that being vulnerable in front of Allah is not a flaw. It's a superpower. She can be shattered in 100 places, but still walk forward because her strength doesn't come from how much she holds together. It comes from how much she lets Allah hold for her. Every test becomes a reminder that she's being reshaped, not ruined. That she's being elevated, not forgotten. That her weakness is not the end of her. It's the beginning of something far more powerful. She doesn't need to scream for the world to hear her pain when her whisper reaches the throne of Allah. And when she falls down, she doesn't stay down, because her trust in Allah pulls her back up. Not with arrogance, not with ego, but with quiet dignity and unshakable faith. The world may never applaud her strength, but the angels write it down. Her tawakkul doesn't make sense to people who measure strength by loudness, by appearances, by dominance. Her strength is quiet, it's hidden, it's divine, and that makes it unstoppable. Because tawakkul doesn't just help her survive. It helps her rise again and again, each time softer in heart but stronger in faith. Her patience is not silence. It's a conversation with Allah. When the world sees her quiet, they assume she has nothing to say, that she has accepted defeat, that she is weak. But what they cannot hear is the voice of her soul speaking endlessly to her Lord. In every sigh, in every moment of stillness, in every tear that falls without a sound, she is speaking to the one who understands without words. Her patience isn't a void. It's filled with whispers of Ya Allah, help me. Ya Allah, guide me. Ya Allah, strengthen me. The world sees a woman waiting in silence, but they don't see the mountains she's moving through her dua. She's not waiting idly. She's engaged in a divine exchange, where every second of sabr is building a fortress around her heart. She doesn't complain to the creation, because she knows the Creator is listening more closely than anyone else ever could. Her silence is strategic. It protects her dignity, her faith, her energy. She doesn't allow her pain to be consumed by people who cannot heal it. She knows that sometimes, the most powerful expression of strength is to say nothing to the world and everything to Allah. People may misread her quietness as weakness, but she knows that Allah reads her intentions, her struggles, and her tears better than anyone else ever will. She may be enduring heartbreak, betrayal, or injustice, but instead of retaliating or explaining herself to every passerby, she turns her heart upwards. This is not weakness. This is spiritual intelligence. This is spiritual survival. This is patience not as passivity, but as active trust, as resistance, as submission to a higher plan. In a world that celebrates loud voices and fast reactions, she has chosen the path of inner dialogue, of waiting without resentment, of trusting without knowing the outcome. Her silence is not the absence of pain, it's the presence of faith. It is a sanctuary, a sacred space between her and her Lord where no judgment enters, no shame survives, and no wound remains unnoticed. She knows that Allah does not overlook even a moment of sabr, that her restraint, her forgiveness, her calmness in the face of provocation, all of it is being recorded, being elevated, being prepared as a reward far beyond what this world can offer. The people who misunderstand her will come and go, but her relationship with Allah remains steady, growing stronger with every silent plea. Her quiet is not empty. It is filled with dhikr, with tears that only the night witnesses, with strength that only Allah sees. While others shout and demand attention, she sits in stillness and is heard by the Lord of the worlds. This is not just patience. It is love. It is tawakkul. It is a woman who knows that her silence is not the end of the story, but the beginning of something written by the one who hears everything, sees everything, and never lets true patience go unrewarded. Even if the world leaves her, Allah never does. A woman who trusts in Allah walks through life knowing that people are temporary. Relationships come and go. Some promises are broken. Some hearts change. Sometimes, the very people she gave her soul to turn their backs on her when she needs them most. But she doesn't collapse. She doesn't lose herself. Because her foundation is not built on people, it's built on her connection with Allah. She knows that humans can fail her, forget her, misunderstand her. But her Lord never does. While others leave when she's no longer useful to them, Allah stays when she has nothing left but tears. When the nights get long and the loneliness feels unbearable, and she turns to her prayer mat and she finds company in the one who never abandons. She knows Allah hears every broken sentence that fails to escape her lips. He sees every wound she hides behind her smile. He understands every unspoken fear sitting in her heart. The world may not understand her pain, but Allah does. And that's why she survives what others think would destroy her. She doesn't chase people who leave, because she knows that anyone who walks away was never meant to stay. She doesn't beg for validation, because she's already known by the King of Kings. While others measure her worth by how loud she is, how perfect she looks, how useful she appears, Allah measures her by the sincerity in her heart and the faith in her silence. The world sees what's on the outside, but Allah sees the broken places she's trying to heal. He knows the weight she's carrying. He knows the effort she makes just to get out of bed. And He never leaves her, even when she's at her lowest, even when she's too exhausted to make dua, even when all she can say is, "Ya Allah," through her tears. While people love her in fragments, based on their needs, based on their moods, Allah loves her in full, continuously, unconditionally, eternally. He doesn't need her to be perfect to stay with her. He doesn't leave her when she sins, rather He waits for her to return. When she falls, He doesn't shame her. He lifts her. He covers her flaws. He brings her closer through every loss, every test, every heartbreak. So when the world walks out, she walks closer to Him. And in that walk, she finds peace the world could never offer. She becomes stronger, not because she has people, but because she has the one who created people. And that's enough. Her sense of security doesn't come from being surrounded. It comes from being seen, heard, and loved by Allah. And even when she feels alone in a room full of people, she remembers that the one who created her soul is nearer to her than her own heartbeat. That nearness is what gives her the courage to keep going, even when everything else is falling apart. Rejection by people is redirection by Allah. When a woman experiences rejection, it can feel like the ground beneath her has disappeared. She questions her worth, her choices, her prayers. She wonders why someone she trusted could walk away, why her efforts went unnoticed, why her love wasn't enough. But what feels like abandonment in the eyes of the world is, in reality, divine protection in the eyes of Allah. Every no she hears from people is an echo of a better eyes. That is still hidden in the plan of her Creator. She doesn't see it in the moment. But the doors that close in her face are often the very doors that would have led her away from peace, from purity, from purpose. Allah redirects her with wisdom. Even when it breaks her heart, even when she doesn't understand, even when the pain feels unbearable. Rejection is not proof that she's unworthy. It's a sign that she is being reserved for something greater. When someone leaves, it may be because Allah heard conversations she didn't, saw actions behind her back, or knew the path would only bring her harm. So He pulls her away, gently, firmly, mercifully, and places her in a state of discomfort not to punish her, but to prepare her. He removes what she thought she couldn't live without, so she would discover He is all she truly needs. She may cry, she may feel lost, but even in her tears, Allah is guiding her. Her broken heart is not evidence of divine silence, but divine intervention. Rejection purifies her attachment. It teaches her to let go of creation and cling to the Creator. It builds resilience in her soul. It teaches her that love built on dunya will always disappoint, but love built on faith can never be lost, should be. And when she accepts that Allah's plans are better than her own, she begins to see beauty in the things she once feared. She understands that not everyone who enters her life is meant to stay, and not every opportunity she desires is meant to be hers. The proposal that didn't happen, the friendship that faded, the job she was denied, each one was an act of divine love in disguise. Allah never rejects without reason. He only redirects to something purer, something safer, something more aligned with her destiny. The pain of rejection becomes the soil where her faith grows deeper. It softens her heart and strengthens her connection with her Lord, as she learns to say, Alhamdulillah, for what didn't happen, not because it didn't hurt, but because it didn't destroy her. It built her. She realizes that Allah's no is not a denial, it's a delay, a detour, or a doorway to something better. And when she begins to see rejection as a form of mercy, not cruelty, she becomes unstoppable, because her worth is no longer tied to the opinions or actions of people. It's anchored in her trust that whatever leaves her was never written for her to keep. A woman who cries to Allah at night walks with light by day. When the world sees her face, it sees strength, calmness, and control, but it doesn't see the long nights she spends in quiet supplication, her face pressed to the ground, her voice trembling as she calls out to the only one who truly listens. Her tears are not wasted, they are collected by the one who never forgets a single drop. In the stillness of the night, when everyone else is asleep, her broken voice echoes in the unseen realms. She doesn't cry out of weakness, she cries out of faith. She knows that her Lord is closer to her than her own soul, and every tear is a testimony of her trust, a reminder that no matter what the day has taken from her, the night brings her back to the one who can give everything. Those moments in Sujud, when she feels her heart melting from the weight of her worries, are the very moments that build her resilience. She may not see it right away, but those cries are shaping her spirit, removing her fears, and bringing tranquility that no worldly solution can provide. Her pain becomes a secret between her and her Lord, and that secrecy becomes a source of inner light. By the time the sun rises, she carries with her a light no one else can see. A calmness that doesn't come from comfort but from connection. Her heart may still ache, but it beats with purpose. Her circumstances may still be uncertain, but her soul is certain of Allah. She doesn't need external validation because she has already been heard by the Master of all hearts. Her duos are her armor, her tears are her fuel, and her faith is her foundation. No one knows the battles she's fighting internally, and no one needs to, because she has already handed her burdens over to the one who never fails. Her days are brighter, not because her life is easier, but because her nights are filled with sacred moments of surrender. People might wonder how she stays so composed, how she doesn't fall apart. They don't realize she already fell apart in the most beautiful way, in front of her Rabb. And when someone collapses before Allah, they rise in a way that no one else can. The light she carries isn't loud, it doesn't flash or boast, it glows quietly, but it touches everything she does. Her words become softer, her decisions become wiser, her actions become more purposeful. She walks through trials with grace, not because they don't hurt, but because she's already handed the outcome to Allah. Her cries at night are not just tears of pain. They are tears of hope, of trust, of complete submission. They build her into a woman who is not afraid of the unknown, because she knows the one who controls it. And so, while the world sees her composure during the day, they will never fully understand the sacred battle she wins every night. Her dignity lies not in beauty, but in her connection with Allah. In a world that constantly pushes her to look a certain way, dress a certain way, and speak a certain way to be accepted, she chooses something different. She chooses to be defined not by the standards of people, but by the guidance of her Creator. while society glorifies external perfection. She understands that true beauty is rooted in modesty, sincerity, and purity of heart. Her worth is not measured by the number of compliments she receives, the trends she follows, or the attention she attracts. It is measured by her character, her obedience to Allah, and the way she carries herself with humility and grace. She may not wear the latest fashion, she may not match the image of beauty seen on screens, but her soul is adorned with something far greater: haya, taqwa, and sabr. These are the qualities that shine brighter than any physical appearance. She protects her dignity not because she is insecure, but because she is aware that her value does not decrease when she is unseen by the world, and it does not increase when she is praised by people. She knows that Allah sees her when she lowers her gaze, when she guards her words, when she turns away from what displeases Him. That consciousness is her honor. She walks with confidence, not arrogance, because she knows she is walking in obedience. Her beauty is not something she uses to gain power over others, it's something she preserves to gain nearness to her Lord. Every time she chooses modesty over exposure, decency over desire, silence over drama, she is preserving a dignity that no one can take from her. It is not weakness to cover what the world wants uncovered. It is not backward to protect what others display. It is strength. It is wisdom. It is understanding that everything valuable is kept safe. And she is no different. Her modesty is not just in her dress, but in her speech, her eyes, her intentions, her presence. She doesn't seek to impress the world, because she was not created for the world. She was created to worship, to serve, to elevate her soul beyond the temporary. Her connection with Allah is what gives her a sense of identity that can't be shaken by trends, opinions, or rejection. She doesn't need to chase attention, because she is already seen by the one who matters most. She doesn't need to prove herself, because she is already validated by the Quran and Sunnah. Her dignity comes from her refusal to compromise her values for momentary gain, from her decision to rise above superficial standards and live for something eternal. And while the world tries to convince her that her beauty is her power, she knows that her power is actually in what she protects, in the boundaries she keeps, and in the light that only shines when a heart is connected to the one who created it. When she lets go of what breaks her, Allah gives her what heals. A woman often holds on to things that hurt her because she believes letting go means losing, failing, or walking away empty-handed. But there comes a time when her heart reaches a point of exhaustion, a point where she realizes that no matter how tightly she clings to the person, the past, the illusion, it's only breaking her more. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it's the first step to allowing Allah to enter and heal what she was never meant to carry alone. She lets go, not because she stopped caring, but because she finally started caring for herself, for her iman, her peace, her purpose. She understands that some relationships, some plans, some dreams are not written for her, no matter how badly she wants them. And holding on to what's harming her only delays the healing Allah has already prepared. The moment she releases her grip from what she thought she needed, she starts to receive what was always meant for her. Allah begins to fill the spaces that were once occupied by pain with something deeper. His mercy, His guidance, His light. She starts waking up with clarity, with ease, with peace that doesn't make sense to anyone else. Because that peace is not from the world, it's from her Lord. Her hands may be empty, but her heart is full. Her calendar may be quiet, but her soul is alive. The pain that once consumed her begins to fade, not because she forgot, but because she surrendered. She surrendered her need to control the outcome and trusted that Allah's plan is far greater than her own desires. And in that surrender, she finds healing. She finds strength she didn't know she had. She smiles again, not because life became perfect, but because her heart is finally free. Free from chasing what was never hers. Free from trying to prove her worth to those who were blind to it. Free from attaching her happiness to temporary things. She learns that healing doesn't always come in the form of answers. Sometimes it comes in the form of distance, silence, and redirection. She embraces the quiet seasons where Allah becomes her closest friend, where the nights feel sacred, where every tear that falls feels like a step closer to healing. And that's when the real transformation begins. When she lets go of the false hopes, the toxic patterns, the emotional weight, she begins to grow. She begins to see her worth not in who stays, but in who she becomes through the process. The world may never see that transformation, but she feels it in her bones. She becomes a woman who is no longer defined by what hurt her, but by what healed her. And that healing is found only when she chooses to trust Allah over everything she was afraid to lose. The one who trusts Allah walks alone but is never lonely. A woman who places her full trust in Allah often finds herself walking a path that others don't understand. She may be surrounded by people yet feel unseen. She may be making decisions that isolate her from what's popular or comfortable, and yet she moves forward with quiet certainty. That certainty comes not from the approval of those around her, but from the unwavering belief that Allah is with her. She knows that being alone on the outside doesn't mean she is alone on the inside. Her soul is connected to the one who sees her every step, hears her every whisper, and protects her in ways she'll never fully comprehend. She's learned that sometimes, trusting Allah means saying no to what everyone else is saying yes to. It means walking away from what others are running toward. It means turning down opportunities that compromise her values, even if they look appealing. People may question her, criticize her, or even leave her. But she keeps walking, because she knows that being right with Allah is worth more than being accepted by the world. She understands that the path of faith isn't always crowded. It's often lonely, filled with tests, and marked by moments of self-doubt. But it's also filled with clarity, serenity, and moments of deep connection with her Lord. When she's walking in silence, she's actually walking in remembrance. When no one understands her, she feels understood by the one who created her heart. She doesn't need to constantly explain herself, because her intentions are between her and Allah. Her choices aren't for show. They're acts of worship, quiet reflections of her tawakkul. And in that trust, she finds power. Power that allows her to say no to what breaks her values. Power that keeps her grounded when everything around her is unstable. Power that brings her peace in the middle of storms others can't see. She feels the nearness of Allah not only when she's praying, but even as she walks, works, and weeps. Every lonely moment becomes a reminder that solitude with Allah is better than togetherness without Him. She isn't waiting for the world to validate her journey. She is walking toward a destination far greater than this world can offer. And on that journey, the fewer distractions, the better. While others are lost in noise, she finds meaning in stillness. She may not have a crowd around her, but she has light within her. That light comes from knowing she is never walking alone. Angels are with her, her doves are protecting her, and her faith is guiding her. This is the type of loneliness that brings strength, not despair. It's a sacred isolation, a chosen quiet, where Allah becomes her companion, her confidant, her guide.